Hey friends, welcome to today's video. Today's video is all about Sonlight Preschool Core T, fiction, fairy tales, and fun. Hey friends, I am Stacey, and today I will be talking all about how much reading there is in 1 week of Sonlight Preschool. So this is the Sonlight Preschool T, and it covers fiction, fairy tales, and fun. So it has lots of fun, cute stories in here, and this is for ages 3 to 4. So this is week 12, and as you can see up here on this little chart, it is not quite halfway through the school year, if you're wondering where this falls at. And our school year got started a little bit late, so we are a little behind, but who's counting? What's behind anyway? And we are really enjoying this. I am doing this core with 2 boys. So I have a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old. He's in kindergarten, but I'm combining them for these stories and the Bible part of this. And they are really enjoying it, and I enjoy doing that. And it's a really gentle approach, and as we have some really sweet moments and bonding experiences doing this. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring you guys with us and show you how much reading is in the books. And then at the end, I have a couple extra things I want to make sure that I point out to you guys. So make sure you stay around for that. So we're going to start right up here on day 34. So in 1 week of the Sonlight Preschool, you do school 3 days a week. So just make sure you're aware of that. It's not a 4 or 5 day a week program. It's very gentle. It's a 3 a day program, 3 days a week program. So first of all, it says up here, David's friend Jonathan and Saul is jealous. So you're gonna be reading 2 Bible stories, and these Bible stories are really short, so that is very doable. So this is the Family Time Bible and Pictures, and I really like this one for this age. I think it's very appropriate. The stories are really short, and so it's easy to keep, like even my 4-year-old, I can keep his attention quite easily. So this is just one story right here, 1 page, or like 1 spread, and then this is the second story, 1 spread. And so this is what you read for the first day. So this is my working binder, and I keep 3 weeks of curriculum for the Sonlight Preschool in here at a time, and then I have my bigger binder with the rest in, that way I don't have to be carrying that around with me. So in here then, on the back pages, they have questions that you can ask them, and ideas for topics, and they usually have a prayer also, which I really appreciate the prayers. Sometimes it gives you good ideas about what to pray about, and it usually connects it somehow with the story, and so I really appreciate that. It helps us to know God more and to ask Him for the things that was brought out in that story. One note on this, we have been doing this at bedtime with the whole family, and my husband would read the story in here, but just since the beginning of the year, he has started reading directly from the Bible with the children, and so we have gone back now to doing this as part of our school again. So just keep in mind that if you do this program, there's multiple ways to do it. There's no right or wrong way. Okay, so I showed you the Bible reading portion. Next is introduce sensory letter G. So that is this letter right here, and it's like sandpaper. And so in the instructor's guide, they tell you how to teach this to your child. They teach the letters sound, which I really appreciate that, and it teaches them how to show them how to write it correctly. You just trace it with your finger. Sometimes they have you draw it in the air, and then they usually have you do it in a sand tray, which my 4-year-old has really, really enjoyed. My 6-year-old doesn't usually do this part of it. He just listens to the stories. He has his own stuff for like language arts. But yeah, so what I usually do is I have 3 flashcards. I will keep reviewing with him and playing games with him until he has those 3 mastered. And then like next week when we learn a new letter, I'll take out whichever card he knows really good and add in 1 new one. And so we're usually reviewing 3 cards at a time, and then maybe once a week or twice a week I'll go back and review all the letters that he has learned. And he doesn't know them all like perfectly, the ones we've learned so far, but it's okay. At this point, I am just working on introducing them to him. He was 3 when we started this program, and now he's 4, and so he is on the young age. And so I am just viewing this year as a way to introduce letters and have it fun and stuff like that. And yeah, it's working like that. Good for us. I like that these cards are really durable. They're made like almost out of cardboard, but kind of like laminated, and so we can throw them, we can hide them, we jump on them, we hop on them, we slap them, we hit them with fly swatters, and so I appreciate that they're very sturdy. Okay, next of all is the geometric triangle shape, the blue triangle, and again in the instructor's guide they tell you what to do. This little clipboard came with the Sonlight in the preschool kit box, and so this triangle they are supposed to trace with their finger, and then they trace with a pencil crayon, and then last week we did the circle here. I don't know if you can see, but then he used his pencil crayons that came in the Sonlight kit box also, and he loves that these are his own. They're triangle shaped with grips, which is great for preschoolers. And then he's supposed to do draw lines inside that's like a rainbow, and he loves rainbow. That's his favorite color, and so he was all about that. And so this week yet, he has not traced this triangle yet. Some days he's into writing, and then some days he is just not into writing, and since he is so young, I don't push it. So maybe another day this week he'll be into it. We'll see. But he really likes his own pencil crayon. Next of all, in number of the week, they say to review the cards 1 through 5. So again, these are the really sturdy cards, and they're like sandpaper where you can trace them and you write them in the sand. We did all that earlier in the school year, but for today, they are supposed to review cards 1 through 5. So that is these, and they can put them in order, like from left to right. And again, it tells you in the instructor's guide ideas and things to do. And then it also says to use these cards and get out numbers 1 to 5 and have them put the counters on. These are little counters that came with the kit. I put them in this box, but like for this one, they put 1 counter on it. For the 2, they put 2 counters on it. It has 2 red dots, and then they have to match up these with the red dots. So it really helps them to understand the quantity, not just to be counting the numbers by themselves. Okay, so next of all, we are going to be reading Hans Christian Andersen Fairy Tales, The Flying Trunk, page 79. So just a reminder, so far we have only read Bible, and then now we're going to be reading a fairy tale. So this is the book. We have really been enjoying this book so far. I would say my 4-year-old maybe sometimes doesn't completely understand the story, but my 6-year-old definitely does. And if I read the story, you know, more than once or twice or 3 times, my 4-year-old begins to understand more and more. But my 6-year-old really enjoys these stories, and even my twins who are 9 will often come and listen. They enjoy this, and the paintings in it are really interesting also. So this is The Flying Trunk, and this is the story we'll be reading that day. So it has bright, colorful pictures and not too much text per page. I'll just show you a couple pages here like that. It doesn't take that long to read, and even I find them interesting. Some of these stories I have never even heard. Okay, and then in the instructor's guide here, it gives ideas, optional activities to go along with the flying trunk, and these are just 2 simple ones, and they're optional, so you can do them or you can choose not to. Next of all is Mother Goose, page 57. So this is the Mother Goose poetry book, and we have really been enjoying this one. Every other page is black and white, and then the next page is in color. So there is a page in color, and it has really interesting pictures. My 4-year-old and my 6-year-old have really been enjoying these pictures in here. So for this day of this week, we just read 1 page in here, 1 simple one. And sometimes the poems are ones that they already know, like It's Raining, It's Pouring, and sometimes the poems are something new that my boys are not familiar with. And so, yeah, we enjoy this, some days more than others. And then in the instructor's guide, they will point out any vocab that the child might not know. For example, on this day, they say cross patch, which means a grumpy person. And so you can just tell your child that. Okay, and then the last thing for today is my first Spanish book, word book, and we're supposed to review in the kitchen. So this is a little board book, and it is called My First Word Books, Spanish, and this is in the kitchen. So we read this page before, and today we're just going to review it. So we are not actively teaching my children Spanish, but I did take it in high school, and I do try to read over the words. I don't know if I always pronounce them correctly, but my 4-year-old really enjoys it. He will sit across from me and just laugh and giggle and cover his little mouth. He likes to try to repeat the words after me, and it's so cute, and it's a little bonding experience, and it's okay if he doesn't remember them. We have fun doing it, and he enjoys it. My 6-year-old does not usually do this, but my 4-year-old loves it. He loves to just try to copy me and say the words after me, and he laughs and giggles the whole time. Okay, and that is it for today. So then the next day would move on to day 35, and today is just 1 Bible story. And so again, that is out of this book, and this is just 1 page. So again, that will not take long to read. So then we go over the discussion questions in the teacher's guide, and then we go over letter G, and this one, again, we go over in the air and do it with our finger, and then we're supposed to do it in the sand tray, and the instructor's guide, again, gives you step-by-step instructions on how you can do that. Okay, and then next of all, it says to go over the triangle. So again, we would continue to work on tracing this, talking about the triangle, and then drawing the lines like a rainbow through the middle of it, using his pencil crayons that he loves and is so proud of. Okay, next of all on here, out of the Hans Christian Andersen Fairy Tales, we will be reading The Ugly Duckling. So we have really been enjoying these fairy tales, like I said, and here is the story of The Ugly Duckling. We just read this one yesterday, and I'll show you just a couple pages. Again, it's got big, bright, colorful pictures with not too many words per page. So it definitely keeps my 4-year-old's attention, and he enjoys listening to them. And he really enjoyed this story. He could understand this one completely. And even my 6-year-old and my twins were right there listening too. So it was all of my boys, and we enjoyed that story. So in the instructor's guide for day 35, The Ugly Duckling, they say, hard boil some eggs for breakfast to help so your child can explore how an egg feels. That sounds like fun. I did not get that done, but we did just have hard-boiled eggs like over the weekend, so yeah. Okay, next of all is Mother Goose, page 58 and 59. So this time it is a 2-page spread, but there is only like 2 poems on here. And in the instructor's guide, it says that after you read about the ship going a-sailing, have the child pretend that their sofa or couch is a ship and they're sailing in the water. And that sounds like something that my boys would love to do. They play that sometimes on their own. So next of all is practical life skills or art skills. And so yesterday we did tongue transfer using cotton balls, and in the instructor's guide back here, they tell you step by step again how to do that. So you're supposed to use 2 bowls and then like a tongues and use the cotton ball and lift it from one bowl to the next bowl. And then if that is easy for your child, you can get a smaller object that's harder to pick up and move over. And they tell you all that in the instructor's guide. So that was really good. Skills for my 4-year-old to do. I really like that Sonlight includes life skills and ideas like that. They sent along a little kid's knife, and one time they practiced cutting bread with it or help cut maybe some soft fruit with it like banana. And my 4-year-old loves doing stuff like that, helping me in the kitchen, which is great. Okay, then there's nothing down here in these 2 boxes. So then we're going to move to this box, and this is the one that we will be doing tomorrow. So this is 3 days a week, so I don't get it done, you know, every day we do school. But again, we're going to read 2 Bible stories. So this is David Takes Saul's Spear, and this one is Saul Visits a Witch. So right here then it says day 36 and your Bible stories right there. David takes Saul's spear to discuss after you read. Here's a prayer. And then here is Saul visits a witch and discuss after you read, and then the prayer. So they really have that there for you word for word if you want to just read it right out of here, or you can read it ahead of time and then reword it for your child however you wish, however you want to do that. But I appreciate that they guide you so much like that. If you are a parent who feels like you can't teach your child preschool, this here is a very gentle approach that will hold your hand and help you to be able to teach your child. Okay, and then next of all is the Hans Christian Andersen fairy tales, and this is the Little Tin Soldier. So this is my bookmark here. My son made a card, I love you. He cut out all those letters. He worked so hard for it. That's my 9-year-old. But this is the Little Tin Soldier. We are going to be doing this tomorrow. We haven't read it yet. But nice big colorful pictures, not too much words per page. And yeah, I'm sure they will enjoy this story also. Then in the instructor's guide, it says to have your child walk around pretending they're a tin soldier. And so I think my boys will love that. That sounds like something right up their alley, the 4-year-old and the 6-year-old. Okay, and then next of all, in the Mother Goose book, we will be reading one page, page 60, which is this page right here, and it is black and white. So I'm sure they'll enjoy that. My 6-year-old really enjoys poetry, even more than my 4-year-old. My 4-year-old is just beginning to understand like words rhyming and stuff. But there's a poem early in this book about the crooked man who lived in a crooked house, and I'm sure you guys are familiar with that one. But my 6-year-old, he will often ask me to go back. Mom, can you read that one again? And he tries to say it kind of with me. So I want to maybe try to work on memorizing that one with him since he enjoys it so much and requests it. I think he would enjoy memorizing it. I do have some other poetry that I have memorized with him. It comes with his curriculum, my 6-year-old, and he just gets a lot of kick out of poems, which is interesting because that is not me. It's not who I was as a child. And so it's just really fun to see his personality different than me and what he enjoys. But yeah, we have been enjoying this book. Okay, next of all, it says the alphabet sound sheet G. Can I say that? So that is back here. So I normally just have him do like half one day and half the other day. There's a dotted line here. You can easily cut it apart. My 4-year-old is not into writing. He is just not interested, and I have not pushed it. So there, to be honest, there's a lot of weeks this year so far that we have skipped this. He is not interested in writing, and he's only 4, and so I don't want to push it. Sometimes my 6-year-old would do it. Sometimes he likes to use like a highlighter, like a really fat highlighter. My 4-year-old does, and trace them. I think he's a little bit of a perfectionist, and when he traces them and can't stay quite on correctly, he gets a little bit frustrated and discouraged. But also, I've noticed if I tell him just to trace 1, he will be okay with that. He'll trace just 1 G, and then we call that good enough. But then there have been a few weeks where he's done the whole sheet, so It just kind of depends. But in general, we have skipped these. And then again, we're going over the blue triangle shape, and in the instructor's guide, they give you like 3 different ideas for activities to do with it. And then we're reviewing number cards 1 to 5. And again, in the instructor's guide, they give you activities and ideas to do with that. Okay, and then the last thing for this week is music, and I really appreciate that Sonlight includes music in here. Sometimes it suggests songs that I may not think of on my own, and so I like that. But this song this week is Happy and You Know It, Clap Your Hands, which my boys do love and know already. Back here in the instructor's guide, it says that you can listen to the song with your kids by Listener Kids. So I will look that up on YouTube and see if it's on there. And but sometimes we just sing it by ourselves if we already know it really good. So that is how much reading there is in 1 week of Sonlight Preschool, Core T, and yeah, doing 1 core with 2 boys. In the beginning of this video, I said there's a few extra things I want to show you guys about Sonlight Preschool, so I'm going to show you guys those things. These are a couple things that I appreciate that they have, and also something that my boys have really enjoyed. So the scissors comes with the preschool kit, the box, and this is an easy one for them to open and close, and it's not too sharp so they won't cut themselves, but it also comes with paper like this where they can practice cutting. So some weeks the lines were straight, some weeks they were just sideways, like catty corner diagonally. This one is zigzag, which is a little bit harder for him. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll cut the strip, one strip for him and then give it to him, and then he has to actually cut on the gray line, if that makes sense. And we don't always get the whole sheet cut in 1 week. It depends on what my 4-year-old is feeling. My 6-year-old doesn't really do these. He mostly just listens to the stories. This is more for my 4-year-old. Okay, and then this is something that we have all really enjoyed, and my boys especially, my 4-year-old and 6-year-old, they request stories out of here often. So we'll often go back and reread stories in here. So this is, like, for example, Harold and the Purple Crayon. They really enjoy this one. I've read it I don't know how many times to them. And my 6-year-old will sometimes read it to his little brother. He's not, reading it correctly, but he's reading it. This book is so big and heavy. One thing I like, at the end of each story, they'll have different ideas, things about the author, or how you can enjoy Harold and the Purple Crayon further, like with your child, ideas to do with them. And I appreciate that at the end of each story they have that. And then this story back here has been a favorite also. This is Pizza Pizza, and I had never even heard of this story before. I never read it. But this little boy, his mom and dad make him into a pizza, a pretend pizza, and they tickle him and like cut up white paper for pepperoni, put it on him, or red paper, and different stuff like that. And so then at the end, you're supposed to act this out with your child, and my boys have loved it. And even my twins will come and help. And so we have acted that out and cut up paper, red paper for the pepperoni multiple times, and at one point you tickle them, and at one point you have to like chase them around because your pizza giggles and you have to chase them around the table or whatever. And oh my goodness, my boys just love it. And so we have done that multiple times. We've made little paper pizzas, and we have them actually hung up here on the wall in honor of that story. And so we have created a lot of special memories with that story. And yeah, these stories are not meant to be read just once. I would encourage you to enjoy them and read them again and again and create memories. Okay, well, I hope this video has answered your question, how much reading there is in a week of Sonlight Preschool. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I know that we have certainly been enjoying this curriculum. Okay, down below in the description box, I will put a link for Sonlight, and I would appreciate if you'd use that link if you decide to purchase from Sonlight. I hope this video is helpful and helped answer any questions you had. If you have any more questions, please feel free to leave them down below in the description box, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye!